Hans Grunberg discussed this with the Foreign Minister Ahmed bin Mubarak's latest peace efforts in Yemen. The United Nations says that safer rescue operation will take 14 days to be completed. On the International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression, children in Yemen continue to bear the brunt of the conflict. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English news with me, Shazad Abdelbey. The UN envoy to Yemen, Hans Grunberg, met with the Foreign Minister Ahmed bin Mubarak in Riyadh. In addition, in the meeting, Grunberg briefed bin Mubarak on the results of his recent visits to a number of countries. For his part, bin Mubarak renewed the Presidential Council's commitment to end the suffering of the Yemenis and support the efforts of the Special Envoy, as well as regional and international efforts which aim at resuming the political process and achieving lasting peace in the country. The United Nations resident coordinator in Yemen, David Gressly, said that the transfer of crude oil from SAFER will be completed within 10 days to 14 days if no major complications happen. This report has more details.
The transfer of crude oil from the SAFER tanker, an oil storage vessel stricken off Yemen's Red Sea coast, will be complete within 10 to 14 days. The statement was given by David Gressly, the United Nations resident coordinator for Yemen, in an interview with Arab News.
The Endeavour is very much a support vessel designed to provide the equipment and necessary expertise to prepare the vessel, as was described by Akam. And they intend to start that tomorrow. They intend to start pumping inert gas in tomorrow to secure the oil chambers so that they no longer have atmospheric oxygen. That's the first safety precaution to be taken, but they'll examine the whole vessel. They need to figure out the best way to empty the oil before they start to do that so that they don't put undue stress on any particular part of the vessel.
Gressly was speaking from on board the Endeavour, a crude carrier recently purchased by the United Nations for an inspection before the process of removing 1.1 million barrels of oil, which are at considerable risk of spilling into the sea.
We are hopeful. We are doing everything we can right now to mobilize these remaining 14 million. But at some point, somebody will have to finance this. And we have certainly gone to the limits in UNDP to be able to make possible what we could to not slow down this operation. And as I mentioned, literally until Friday night, we were negotiating with an insurance broker in London with a consortium of approximately 24 underwriters in order to negotiate a package of insurance policies that would allow us to deal with the risks that need to be and can be insured.
Once this taken ecological time bomb has been secured, saving Red Sea ecosystems and fishing communities up and down the coast from almost certain a disaster, the Endeavour will tow the SAFER to a green scrapping yard.
Government forces defended a Houthi infiltration attempt in North Taiz. The media center stated that the government forces backed by the Popular Resistance managed to stop an infiltration attempt by the Houthi militia in Usayfarid front north of the city. The joint forces destroyed Houthi objects that targeted populated villages south of Hodeidah and west of Taiz. The military media of the joint forces reported that the units stationed in Hodeidah detected targets used by the rebel militia to target the villages of Maqbana Taiz and the village of Al-Tahita in Hodeidah. One civilian was injured due to an explosive device planted by the terrorist Houthi militia in Hodeidah. Houthi mines killed and injured hundreds of civilians in Hodeidah, where the Houthis planted large areas with mines and explosive devices. On the International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression, children of Yemen continue to bear the brunt of the 9-year conflict. This report has more details.
Today marks the International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression. This day sheds light on children who suffer from different forms of violence. It is observed annually on the 4th of June, and it serves as a reminder of the pain suffered by countless children worldwide, regardless of the type of abuse they face. By raising awareness about the challenges these vulnerable individuals encounter, the International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression urges individuals, communities, and nations to unite and take action in creating a safer and more developing environment for children everywhere, and to prioritize the protection and preservation of children's rights across the globe. This day comes when the children of Yemen are suffering under the weight of the war that has turned their lives into hell. They were killed, disabled, and became homeless. During the years of war, more than 11,000 children were killed and maimed, according to the United Nations. Also, more than 74 children were killed during the truce as a result of the bombing and the network of mines planted by the Houthi militia.
Today is an international day that calls to protect all children worldwide. Regarding Yemeni children, they have become in a miserable situation. Thousands of children have been tortured, disabled, and killed during this war.
Yemen's children were born in war and did not grow up safely. The war had a devastating effect on their health, education, and well-being. More than 2 million children are out of school at a time when the UNICEF stated that nearly 6 million children in Yemen are one step away from famine and are in need of urgent help. The Houthi militia did not only starve, displace, and kill children in Yemen, using them as fuel in its war, but also they deprived them of healthcare in the areas it controls by launching campaigns against children's vaccinations, which led to diseases such as polio and measles that are common among children, as the World Health Organization said that more than 80% of children infected with measles and polio did not receive the vaccine. The International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression also emphasizes the role of governments, organizations, and individuals in guaranteeing the safety and well-being of children. It reaffirms the commitment of the United Nations and the international community to shield children from all forms of aggression, whether physical, mental, or emotional. Additionally, it raises awareness about the detrimental impact of armed conflicts, violent extremism, and other acts of aggression on children. It calls for intensified efforts to prevent and alleviate such harms, advocate for children's rights, and ensure accountability for violations.
The Yemeni Journalist Syndicate renewed demand for the immediate release of 4 journalists detained by the Houthi group in Sana'a. The syndicate said in a statement that is following with great concern the conditions of detained journalists in Sana'a and Aden for a long time in light of the inflexibility of authorities and their rejection to release them. Coming next in the news. A community initiative in Aden aims to fight bad habit of smoking.
من بداية الحرب ارتفع سعر المواشي وارتفع سعر الأعلاف. القونية البر عندي 50,000، يلا نشتري نص قونية. بالنسبة لنا الرعاة عندنا يعني نفكر بالأعلاف، هذا اللي نفكر به. اليوم أقام منظمة الفاو وأعطيتنا احنا 3 جواني أعلاف و3 قوالب ملحية. نستفيد من الأعلاف غذاء للمواشي حافظا على صحة الأغنام، والقوالب الملحية فاتحة للشهية. للريستورانت واليوم فيصير عندنا في معيشتي اقتصاديه اقل اسره، يعني بدل ما اشتري الاعلاف اشتري للجهال.
Welcome back. Dengue fever has hit major areas in Taz. This comes amid severe shortage of medical supplies. This report has more details.
Thousands of residents who live under the fear of a pandemic that arrived in Taiz 9 years ago are seeing an increase in viral fever. Due to the present health crisis, medical facilities are overflowing with patients, most of whom cannot afford the cure. Taiz has experienced a rise in viral fevers, which have extended to include dengue fever and malaria. According to medical authorities, the first 4 months of the year noticed an increase in infections cases of over 8,000. The patients at home are in pain, and their numbers grow significantly unless the medications are provided, even if the terrifying data are disguised.
Fever is common among children, and parents cannot afford the cure in the hospital.
The medical authorities are content with the changes in the epidemic progress and the measures made to stop the spread of fevers after hosting the initial workshop to combat dengue fever, which focused on the related industries.
طبعا سجلنا خلال سنة 2023 حتى اللحظة.
In 2023, we recorded 3,243 cases so far, and we will overcome this problem and get rid of mosquitoes with the cooperation of citizens and international organizations.
The best way to deal with viral fevers is still to eradicate the sources, and anything else is pointless.
A recent international report stated that attacks against healthcare in Yemen have increased by 20% over the past year. This report has more details.
A recent international report stated that attacks against health facilities in Yemen have increased by 20% over the past year. The report stated that a total of 24 violent incidents against health facilities occurred in Yemen during the past year, and that these incidents led to the destruction or damage to 12 health facilities and resulted in the death of 6 health workers in addition to the kidnapping of 5 others. 9 years of armed conflict in Yemen have left 21 out of 31 million people in acute need of humanitarian services. 540,000 Yemeni children under age 5 are currently suffering from severe acute malnutrition with a direct risk of death. 46% of health facilities across the country are only partially functioning or completely out of service due to shortages of staff, funds, electricity, or medicines. In the first quarter of this year, more than 13,000 new cases of measles, 8,700 cases of dengue fever, and more than 2,000 suspected cholera cases were reported. But the actual numbers are likely much higher due to the gaps in surveillance system, mass displacements, overburdened health facilities, disruptions of water and sanitation networks, and the low immunization coverage are triggering and spreading these diseases outbreaks.
Since smoking is the primary cause of lung cancer, a community initiative was started in Aden to raise awareness of the danger of smoking on people's health. This report has more details.
Many people lost their lives to cancer. This citizen's father passed away due to lung cancer that he had as a result of smoking. What motivated his son to quit smoking and recognize the value of smoking prevention initiatives?
I
advise everyone to quit smoking because my father had pulmonary fibrosis due to smoking, and that's why I don't smoke. Young people should quit electronic smoking, which is very harmful as it has widely spread these days.
The significance of campaigns warning of its hazards in connection with World No Tobacco Day, since it is one of the most crucial primary causes of cancer, as revealed by professionals' horrifying figures.
Today, we are talking about smoking, one of the causes of lung cancer and other types of cancers. According to global statistics, 90% of deaths are due to smoking, which causes heart disease and lung cancer.
In all of its forms and variations, cancer is spreading. It has become an enemy that has to be defeated, and efforts must be taken to warn others away from smoking because of this terrifying reality that is brought on by it.
Smoking is considered one of the most common causes of lung cancer, and today it is not only to combat smoking but also to combat the tobacco damage.
Smoking harms a person's health and money, and harms those around him as well who are passive smokers, such as children, women and the elderly. Besides, such awareness campaigns must be spread.
Fighting epidemic causes is the first step in slowing their spread, since smoking is one of the main reasons of cancer. Safeguarding society from its danger is necessary.
Here's a reminder of the main headlines. Hans Grunberg discusses with the Foreign Minister Ahmed bin Mubarak latest peace efforts in Yemen. UN says the safer rescue operation will take 14 days to be completed. On the International Day of Innocent Children Victims of Aggression, children in Yemen continue to bear the brunt of the conflict. This is the end of the news. Thank you for watching.